You may have heard about CityWorks Expo. For years now, we've been bringing people together to share big ideas for better places. Expo connects innovators across the community and around the globe through an ongoing series of events, conferences, and social media. And our goal is to inspire and support people like you, the ones who have a passion for making their neighborhoods, communities, and cities better places to live, work, and play. Check us out at cityworksxpo.com to learn more. Become a part of the Expo community and share your story. You never know who you will inspire with your big ideas.
Okay, Melanie was talking about the story of a city. I'm going to tell you the story of a little village. If you go beyond the great horizon of Bent Mountain, you end up in the realm of Floyd, Virginia. And I'm going to tell this story through images, and it's really a story about how a community has been built and is being built by newcomers and by old-timers that came together, the back-to-landers of the 60s and their children and the folks who embrace them. Just a quick little vision about where Floyd is. This is the Commonwealth of Virginia and the Blue Ridge Plateau. The Blue Ridge Plateau are the highest counties in the state of Virginia and represent this area south and west of Roanoke, Grayson, Carroll, and Floyd counties. Here's Floyd. You can see that it has mountains around most of it. And very briefly, it's a county with only 16,000 people, and the biggest town is 450, and the lowest elevation is 2,000 feet. And though it is rich in many ways, according to the statistics, it's one of the poorer counties in the state. Buffalo Mountain is sort of our spiritual place. It's the mountain that you can see from almost anywhere in the county. Wills Ridge runs north and south and sort of divides the county between the Blacksburg side of the county and the other side, the Patrick side. And Floyd is 65% forested, and among those forests are Christmas trees. We have these high alpine meadows and river valleys, and the Little River is the estuary which drains the county, along with creeks and streams and little springs. Over 50% of our roads they have deemed unimproved, which means they're gravel roads. We're very happy about that, and even the roads that are improved are only slightly improved. We have one very important road, though, and that is the Blue Ridge Parkway, and 35 miles of the parkway runs through Floyd County, and people use it for a variety of recreational activities. Maybury Mill is apparently the most photographed place in the National Park System there in Floyd. And our little town of 450 is nestled in the middle of this plateau. We have one stoplight, a variety of small businesses. Almost all the business is locally owned. And this sort of tells the story of who we are here. And we still have a 1950s drive-in with curb service, and you can get your hair cut in the barber shop with a bluegrass jam going on at the same time. We have a privately owned bank, a local telephone cooperative, and of course the Floyd Country Store, the place that over the past generation has really codified the heritage music of the region. And on Friday nights, the community gathers to dance and hang out and drink coffee and tell stories. And then the Floyd radio show a live show happens once a month on Saturday night. In fact, it's happening tonight. And the various bluegrass and old-time music jams that spring up in the store and in various little spots around town. And this is a activity which really touches many people, young and old. And there is this activity which a lot of young people get involved with, both in relation to music and dancing and being part of this community. We have, of course, Floyd Fest, which is very well known, but also there are a number of other festivals, summer festivals in Floyd. And so how did all this happen? Because over the course of the last decade or two, Floyd really has been transformed in many ways. It still has its essential character, but something new has been added and developed. This group came together about 20 years ago and started what was called the Floyd Fund. And we, after some conversation, bought this building. And when I say we, it is a collective we. Some of it is a single individual, some of it is small groups, and some of it is the town and the county and many citizens working together. We bought this old building because it was only a half block from the stoplight, and we feared that if the wrong thing happened, it could determine the direction of our community for years to come. And so we came together, a group of us, and we figured out what we wanted to do. We also bought this building, which is directly across from the country store, and we decided this was an image of what it might become. We felt that we needed a farmer's market, so we built a farmer's market, and we went about with the help of a CDBG block grant. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to both VHDA and DHCD, two state agencies that are sponsoring the expo, which really helped us. And so we had a few years of construction, had a lot of fun with that, and then began the transformation of new businesses. And part of this was very much related to the creation of the Crooked Road organization as part of Governor Warner's Virginia Works project. And the Crooked Road identified Floyd as an important music venue, music community. And so it had a tremendous impact on Floyd. And we really piggybacked on what was going on with the road. I don't know where this guy's going, but I want to go there with him. It's sort of cultivated this community of people who come together and celebrate through musical conversation. And on Friday nights, for many of you who have been there, it spills out into the street with jam sessions. And it sort of embodies this old idea of how music is handed down from one generation to the next. And you see young people coming and learning from the elders and just trying to hone their skills, and then eventually being invited into the circle where they play their licks. Round the Mountain is a sister organization to the Crooked Road. A number of us in Floyd got involved with developing this, and it is the craft organization, which is a network that drew artisans and craftspeople from all over Southwest Virginia. Here you got the music and craft thing going on at one time. And it led to a lot of interesting cottage industries and shops in Floyd being started and beginning to thrive as visitors came to see what Floyd was about. We started an artisan tour in 2010, which allowed people to come and visit studios. We thought we needed an art center, so we started an art center, and this is the Jacksonville Center for the Arts, was a reuse of an old dairy barn. We thought we needed a park and some trails, so this group of people started to work on parks and trails, which resulted in the downtown park in Floyd, which today is a very important part of the community. Here's some trails that they're building. One of us thought we needed a hotel and a conference center, and so that went ahead and was built. There it is with its solar panels and its electric car charger. There has been built a village on the outside of town, which is both a facility for head-injured people and also a co-housing development, and there's a community school there. So we've kind of taken the town from a place where it was 10, 15 years ago and turned it into something which now we really feel good about. We thought we needed an organization which would grow and serve food to undernourished and people who were on the margins. So this organization was started, and today, two days a week, there are meals which are provided for anyone who needs it. And in order to take all of this development and begin to place it in the environment, on the land, with concerns about the sustainability of this place, we started this organization. And Sustain Floyd, over the course of the last 7 years, has been at the forefront of trying to find a right path for Floyd in relation to its environmental and its natural resource protection and various things. This is our little office in the station building, and our current president and her assistant. Sustain Floyd really takes on about 6 projects. One is that we build and manage the community market, and this has turned out to be a very vibrant market, and if anybody's in Floyd on Saturday morning, I would suggest that you come to it, including Red Rooster Coffee on the spot, and there's folks of all ages that get into that. There's also a Friday evening craft market there at the community market, which serves to connect customers and artisans. We have focused on issues of alternative energy, and a few of us went and built this solar wagon. We call it the Volkswagen, and it's it used to have a little more respect than it has today. But this is a traveling power supply, and so we take this around. It's an exhibit, it's a teaching tool, it's also practical. You can plug things into it and even power a small house with it. We also installed what at the time was the largest solar array in Southwest Virginia, a 25 kW system on the roof of the Village Green project. And in fact, coming up on the 17th, we have a solar home tour in Floyd, we're calling the Ramble, where you can visit a number of homes and businesses and agricultural installations of solar. Also, we wanted to do something about obesity and nutrition, and we got a grant to hire a full-time childhood obesity specialist for the school system, and that included also a number of projects related to farm to school that allowed kids to have an experience of farming and growing food and harvesting and having some understanding of how all of this occurs. Additionally, Sustain Floyd has a film series, and this is really trying to bring issues of importance to the community. And this is a flyer about our fall film series. It's coming up. Last Call It the Oasis, a documentary about water. And in November, one about food, and then in December, one about farming. And so we show 6 or 8 films a year, and the community comes. We have conversations. We have knowledgeable people speak about these issues. Another project that Sustain Floyd does is that it brings urban college students to the community for a week at a time to really experience a type of lifestyle that they might not otherwise really encounter. Here, the question is, which way is north? And as you can see, there's a lot of disagreement about it, including a lot of people who are pointing straight up. But this is a way to help people understand where they are and their place in this world. And these students work on agricultural projects. Many of them have never been in a kitchen or cook. As a matter of fact, this young woman here didn't know the difference between a cabbage and a lettuce, and here she is learning to make slaw. And they serve themselves and others these meals that they prepare. And here they are having a dance lesson at the country store. Probably the biggest thing that Sustain Floyd has been part of is finding a way to help develop strategies about sustainable agriculture. And when we looked around, we realized that within Floyd, there's a real history of it. You can see the remnants of what was a very vibrant growers market, a vegetable farming industry in the county before World War II. But now most of the farmers are part-time farmers and work primarily with cattle and cattle feed. And so we looked for a model. We thought about Vermont. We went to Vermont, and when we got to Vermont, we realized that what's got them ahead is that they really celebrate local farms and local farmers and local food to a degree that we can hardly conceive of. There's all these little farm stores around everywhere, and people really put a lot of energy into and a lot of concern into finding a way to connect with local farmers and local food. And you saw this wherever you went. So we decided that we would do something, and the first thing we did was create a logo, because if you have a logo, that means you're doing something. And even though we didn't know what we were doing yet, we decided we'd create a logo. And then we realized that what we needed was a farm. And we looked around, we didn't have a farm, so we decided to buy a farm. So we bought a farm, and this is Riverstone Farm, which is now was bought 5 years ago, and we built it from scratch. Here we're building barns and putting in water and fencing and greenhouses and cabins for the staff. And then we hired wonderful, enthusiastic, energetic young farmers to come and farm. And we plowed land, and we bought leaves and compost and found a way to fertilize everything. And we got ourselves USDA certified organic, and we have equipment, and we grow crops and harvest crops, and we have greenhouses where we harvest crops, and we grow things through the winter. So this is a real exploration of what's possible. We've built this GAP certified wash station and pack house, and now we're putting in berries and perennials. Have 150 head flock of sheep and chickens, and we're exploring livestock, and here's a solar-powered pump for the farm. And we decided that we needed a little store, so we've built a little store on the farm. and it needed a hiking trail, so we built a hiking trail, and which is open to the public, and you can come unannounced with your family and walk around and see the river and see a working farm in progress. And we decided that we would do tours and have workshops. So we're doing that on everything from birds to trees to plants to mushrooms. What is this natural world that we seem to be separating ourselves from day by day, year by year? So to sum up, we have a story, and the story is that we took one step, but we didn't have any idea where we were going. So we took a step, we looked around to see who was with us, we took another step, but these are the things that became important to us. To identify community assets. Well, we didn't consider fiber optic and commerce parks really our primary assets. We thought clean air, clean watersheds, forests, beautiful views, those were our assets. And we also considered what is it that we should really be aiming at. And these are two metrics which we hear a lot about. The first one is a metric of the U.S. Department of Commerce, a measure of wealth, health, comfort, and material goods to meet personal needs, and quality of life being something quite different. It's about freedom, it's about family and community and health and security and environmental quality, and those were the things that we were aiming at. And we decided that we would make our heroes the musicians and the farmers and the artisans and the local entrepreneurs. And so we've had this experience over the last 15 years of finding a way to connect with people, to find ideas, to develop strategies, and to create a place that we wanted to live. There's my grandson there, age 6 months. And to find a way in the face of enormous global challenges to enter into a solution by just looking right at our feet and trying to find a way to be useful and helpful at that level. Because ultimately, whether it's the local economy, the national economy, or the multinational economy, it's the economy of the earth which is the important economy. Thank you.